What's up, everybody? This is your boy Uber Hikari, aka the Nerd Nigga, here to bring you another video with no frills, just the analysis. And today I'm here to bring you the review of Naruto Chapter 665 entitled Who I Am Now. First, I think this is going to be a pretty long chapter review because there's a lot I got to talk about. Second, on a scale of 1 to 10, my bullshit meter is at fucking ridiculous. Ridiculous. Talk to me, Kishi. What's going on, Kishimoto? Talk, talk to me, man. You having problems, bro? Having problems with your plot? Plot devices? What's going on, Kishi? Talk to me, man. Let Uber Hikari know what's going on right now, man. Because this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. Before I even get into my summary and analysis of this chapter, however, I just want to talk about the possibility of Madara being sealed with the tools that he spit out in the last chapter. Just got to deal with this for a second. Uh, First of all, those were the Sage of Six Paths tools, just in case anybody didn't know that. That was the two that Madara spit out were the Bene Hisago, the gourd, and the Kohaku no Johei, the pot. The Bene Hisago can't be used without the Shichiseikin or the Kokenji. That's number one. I mean, I didn't just say that these tools were irrelevant for no reason. They're irrelevant for very specific reasons. One, when we're talking about the Bene Hasago, the gourd, it can't be used without either the Shichiseikin or the Kokenji. You need to curse someone with the Kokenji, then you have to cut their word soul with the Shichiseikin. Then you have to seal their word soul in the Bene Hisago. Then if a person says their most frequently used word, only then can they be sealed. Kinkaku, who is sealed inside the Kohaku no Johei, which is the pot, he had the Kokenji when he was sealed in there. So they don't even have access to the Kokenji. And I don't even know where the Shichiseikin is. If anybody remembers what happens to the Shichiseikin, please remind me. But they don't know where the Shichiseikin is. They don't have access to the Kokenji, and nobody knows how to even use the Bene Hisago. No one even knows the correct steps to use to seal a person with the Bene Hisago. Nobody has this info. So Madara, I mean, it's a very high probability that if Madara is going to be sealed with anything, it will not be the Bene Hisago. Now let's talk about the Kohaku no Johei. The pot is actually easier to use. All you have to do is call out somebody's name, and if they respond, then they get sealed inside the pot. But again, no one knows how to use the Kohaku no Johei. Guy doesn't know how to use it, and neither does Kakashi. From what I remember, if you go back to chapter 592, for example, when Obito first throws the Bene Hasago and the Kohaku no Johei into the Ghetto Mazo in order to extract the Kyubi chakra from Kinkaku and Genkaku so he can summon the Jubi, neither Kakashi nor Guy know what any of those tools are. So even if they have access to the tools now, even if Ten gets there and gets them the Sage of the Six Paths tools, it's not clear that they can even use them because they don't even know what they are or how to use them. The person who might know how to actually use them is Killer B, who at this point hasn't made an appearance since the Hachibi was extracted from him. And the only reason why I say Killer B might know how to use the pot is because at one point the Hachibi was sealed inside the Kohaku no Johei. Therefore, since no one on the battlefield can use the items or even knows how to use the items, it's highly improbable that Madara will actually be sealed using those items. They can't use the Bene Hisago without the Shichiseikin and the Kokenji, which they don't have, uh, and they don't even know how to use them. So, like I said, at this point, those two items are completely irrelevant because without some further plot development or some further information being brought to the attention of the people on the battlefield, they can't use them. And not only that, there's no way you're going to convince me that the fucking god of the shinobi world, the Jubi, along with its Jinchuriki, can be sealed in a wine gourd or a potato pot. You're not going to convince me of that. So unless there's some serious fuckery going on here, I'm not buying it. Those items completely irrelevant. Now let's talk about the Kyuubi chakra and Madara. Another point of clarification. People were saying that Minato or Kakashi or somebody on the battlefield could potentially use the Kyuubi chakra from Kinkaku and Genkaku in order to revive Naruto. No, that can't happen. Genkaku was sealed inside the Beni Hisago. Kinkaku was sealed inside the Kohaku no Johei, right? When Obito tossed those items into the Ghetto Mazo in order to extract the Kyuubi chakra to summon the Jubi, all of that Kyuubi chakra got absorbed. That's why Madara had those tools to begin with, and that's why he spit them out, because he didn't need them. The Kyuubi chakra had already been absorbed once the Jubi was summoned. Therefore, neither Kenkaku nor Genkaku have any more Kyuubi chakra, so that can't be used to revive Naruto. That's just not gonna happen. So Madara now has that chakra from Kinkaku and Genkaku, which was absorbed when the Jubi was summoned. And he has, if I'm not mistaken, the Yang chakra that he just extracted from Naruto. And now Black Zetsu has absorbed the Yin Kyuubi chakra. So unless I'm forgetting something, that's all the Kyuubi chakra there ever was. Genkaku and Kinkaku, the Yang inside of Naruto, and the Yin inside of Minato. At this point, Madara either has directly absorbed all of that chakra, or Black Zetsu has it, which means it's pretty much under Madara's control. Also, in as the Sage of the Sixth Paths right now, Madara is stronger than Obito ever was. Um, Obito only had a little bit of the Hichibi chakra and a little bit of the Kyuubi chakra. Of course, he had the Kyuubi chakra from Genkaku and Kenkaku, and he had some Hachibi chakra that was absorbed from Killer B during Sasuke's fight. If you remember, Sasuke cut off one of the tails of the Hachibi, and it turned into a clone of Killer B. Once he brought it back to Akatsuki when they were absorbing the Hachibi chakra, it turned into a tail, and then it disappeared. That was the only Hachibi chakra he had. However, Madara has almost all of the Hachibi chakra. He has that chakra that was already absorbed from Killer B, plus he extracted the Hachibi from Killer B, and I didn't go back to actually verify this, but I think King of Lightning mentioned that one of the tails of the Hachibi was cut off, so maybe Killer B is still around, and maybe he has a little bit of Hachibi chakra, but for the most part, Madara has it all, and he has almost all of, or at least half, more than half, of the Kyuubi chakra. Whereas Obito only had a little bit of the Hachibi and a little bit of the Kyuubi chakra. Plus, Madara has Hashirama cells. Plus, he has the Sage chakra from Hashirama. And Minato even confirms that Madara is stronger than Obito in this chapter, where he basically says, I feel the power of the hermit stronger than it was in Obito. The only thing not Obito, the only thing Madara is missing at this point is the Yin chakra from Black Zetsu and the Eye from Black Zetsu. After that, he'll pretty much be at 100% power as the Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails. Now that those points of clarification are out of the way, let's talk about the summary and analysis of this chapter. Not really going to give a summary of this chapter because not really much happened. Although what did happen was quite substantive. Let's start with the bad, the really, really bad, and then we'll get on to what I felt was actually good in this chapter. But before I do that, let me just say, we can't draw any definite conclusions because nothing has been clarified or confirmed. So Obito and all of his fuckery, at this point, it's not really clear what's going to happen. So I just want to point that out, that no definite conclusions can be reached at this time without further clarification. So what could potentially be a plot hole is not actually a plot hole yet. Let's get to the bad, which is Obito and his bullshit. First of all, Obito is supposed to be dead. He's not only is he supposed to be dead, he's supposed to be dead twice over. First, because the Jubi was extracted, he's supposed to die. Because once a Jinchuriki has their tailed beast, Biju, Jubi, whatever, extracted, they're supposed to die. And two, he freaking used Rene Tensei. He's supposed to be dead. And if he's not dead, he certainly shouldn't be moving around or doing anything in in terms of fighting. He should be on his hands and knees on his deathbed about to die. And I think the story would benefit greatly from Obito's death. Just saying. Just saying. The only reason he's alive right now, at least this is the explanation that we got, which hasn't even been confirmed. Black Zetsu just said this. The only reason he's alive right now is because Black Zetsu was supposed to be keeping him alive. He's some sort of symbiote that's attached to uh, Obito, and he's supposed to be keeping him alive, and that wasn't even clearly explained. It's not at all clear why Black Zetsu has the power to keep someone from dying. That was never even explained to begin with. But okay, whatever. He's not dead. He's alive because Black Zetsu. Moreover, not only is Obito not dead, and not only is he still moving around like nothing's happened, but if you paid attention to this chapter, Obito still has his Mangekyo Sharingan activated. How? How is that even possible? I mean, he was supposed to be dead to begin with. He's not supposed to have any chakra, and he's certainly not supposed to have enough chakra to keep his Mangekyo Sharingan activated. That just, I mean, that's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And not only is he not dead, not only does he have his Mangekyo Sharingan activated, but it just looked like he beat Madara Uchiha and then took the staff of the Sage of Six Paths from him. Kishimoto. This makes no sense. Did Obito just stab Madara Uchiha, aka Mr. No Frills Jr., aka Sage of the Six Paths, aka God of the Shinobi World? Did he just stab him with his bare hands? Think about what that implies. That implies that Obito, practically on his deathbed, having supposed to be killed twice over, is stronger than all of the Biju combined, plus Minato, plus Gaara, plus Kakashi, plus Tobirama, plus Sasuke, plus Hashirama, and Edo Tensei? What? Needless to say, this is all bullshit and completely logically inconsistent. Makes no sense whatsoever. However, I will say this. As much as awful as Obito is, any chapter with Madara in it is immediately awesome just because it's Madara fucking Uchiha. So let's talk about Madara Uchiha and the characterization, and his characterization in this chapter, which was actually pretty good and pretty insightful. So First of all, Madara pretty much confirms that Obito is a bitch nigga. Just gonna put that out there. Not gonna sugarcoat anything. Pretty much confirms that he's a bitch nigga. And we see that Obito, which we already knew, Madara didn't have to say this, but we already knew that Obito never had his own ideology or beliefs, but rather he was just regurgitating what Madara told him. And that's the reason why Madara tells him, you were supposed to be me. You're not Obito Uchiha anymore. You're Madara. You're me. You're my ideology. You're my beliefs. You're my will. And of course, that's rather arrogant. And it just shows that Madara has a rather unique set of conflicting, I don't want to say contradictory, because they're not actually contradictory, but he has a unique set of conflicting character traits. Because the arrogance that he displayed when telling Obito that you were supposed to be Madara Uchiha, you were supposed to be me, and you were supposed to carry my will, and you were supposed to be the savior of this world, that reveals that he has a messiah complex, interestingly enough. He has a savior complex. Madara thinks that he's uniquely positioned to be the savior of the entire world. Interesting. And of course, this means that it's even worse for Obito, because Obito wasn't supposed to be his emissary or even his mouthpiece. He was supposed to be him. He was supposed to be Madara Uchiha. He was supposed to be Madara Uchiha, not the person Madara Uchiha. Even if Madara allowed him to use his identity, he's not supposed to be the person Madara Uchiha. He's supposed to be the ideology Madara Uchiha. He was supposed to bring Madara Uchiha, the ideology, to bear on that world. And that's why I think Madara is probably the most interesting character in Naruto, and one of the most interesting villains I've seen in quite a long time in a shonen manga. Uh, because it seems that he really cares more about his ideology than himself as a mere human. What he is as a human, as a person, is subservient to what he is ideologically, to his ideals, to his beliefs. In fact, Madara doesn't see himself really as a person at all, or as a mere person. He sees himself as an ideology. He doesn't want something silly like world domination, or to be a god, or to enslave people, or take over the world, or something as silly and mundane as that. He wields his power because he believes that his ideology is right. Because he believes that his notion of peace is right. And this is pretty much confirmed and really elaborated when Madara Uchiha tells Obito, he says, with the infinite Tsukiyomi, I will realize my dream of creating a world with no chakra. In the end, I will have the most powerful chakra and I will lead the way. So you can see that sort of that juxtaposition between two conflicting characteristics. On one hand, it's he's it's he's sort of being humble in a sense because he realizes that he's corrupt as a human. He realizes the corruption of his own human nature, and he realizes the corruption of human nature in general, but he also has a messiah complex because he doesn't see himself as merely a corrupt human, but as an ideology, as something more than a human. He sees himself as an ideal. And this goes back to an old saying that people use. You can't kill an idea. You can kill a person, you can make a martyr out of a person, you can torture a person, you can enslave a person, but you can't enslave an idea. You can't kill an idea. That's why it's so, actually, to bring this into perspective with respect to the global stage, it's one of the reasons why George W. Bush's supposed war on terrorism was so stupid. Terrorism is an idea. It's a tactic. It's a strategy. It's an ideology. You can't wage war on an ideology. You can't kill terrorism. I mean, for every terrorist you kill, the ideology is still around to recruit more of them. That's why a war on terror makes absolutely no sense. And if you think about all of the, maybe not all, but for a significant majority of the wars that have been fought, they're so powerful and they grip the human imagination so much because you can't end the war merely by killing enough people. If the idea is strong enough, if enough people believe in the idea, then you then there's really nothing you can do other than genocide, essentially. Though that's pretty much your only option. But you can't kill an idea. And that's what Madara is telling Obito and telling basically Naruto and everybody in the whole entire world. You can't kill me. You can't kill me. Not just because I'm the Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails. You can't kill me because of my ideology. And not just because of my ideology, but because my ideology and my notion of peace is right, is the right one. But of course, this raises an interesting question about Madara and his tactics because it begs the question. Madara wants to enforce peace, but can peace be enforced? Can you impose peace on someone? Can you impose peace on the world? Even just saying that sounds like a contradiction in terms. How do you force peace? How do you force people to be peaceful? Something about that seems rather odd. But what's clear is this. And what's interesting is this. Two things. Power without justice is just oppression. I mean, that's easy enough to see. Anytime someone wields absolute power, they pretty much become corrupted and it leads to a situation of oppression. Look at any of the repressive regimes in the world right now. North Korea, the Sudan. Well, not the Sudan now. It's actually been split into Sudan and South Sudan, which has just recently gained its independence. But that was because of the repressive regime of Omar Bashir, who wanted to engage in genocide against people in his own country. But power without justice is just oppression. But justice without power is useless. And this is exactly what Madara told Hashirama when they were children. Said no one will follow a weakling. If you really want there to be peace, you have to be strong because people won't follow a weakling. And you cannot maintain peace without power. So on one hand, power without justice is oppression. On the other hand, justice without power is useless. These are the interesting sorts of moral dilemmas that the character of Madara Uchiha raises. And that's why I think he's probably the most complicated and interesting villain in shonen manga quite a long time. Probably the most interesting and complicated character as a villain that I've seen since Miriam in Hunter x Hunter. And Madara, it looks like Madara's, I won't say he's right because again the questions that he raises are rather complicated, so it's very difficult to find the answer. It's just a riddle, a sort of dilemma. But what's clear is that the Naruto world that was created by Kaguya, who ate the fruit from the Shinju, and by the Sage of the Six Paths, what's clear is that Madara is a sympathetic character because he's a product of this vicious world. And I do mean that the Sage of Six Paths was vicious. And I do mean that Kaguya was vicious. In a live stream, maybe like a last weekend in a live stream, I was talking about the Sage of Six Paths and a lot of people were talking about no this I said that he wasn't really a good guy, that he was more complicated than just being a good guy, and that he really he really wasn't the symbol of peace. And then people were talking about, well, uh, the Sage of Six Paths was peaceful, that he fought the Jubi and that he wanted to bring peace to the world, and yada yada yada. And now we, in this chapter, we see Madara talk about the Sage of Six Paths, and he says, yeah, chakra was meant to be a gateway to empathy, that it was supposed to be a source of connectedness between people, and that it was supposed to be the means by which people were allowed to sympathize with each other and empathize with each other and connect with each other and understand each other. But he says instead, the Sage of Six Paths and Kaguya, his mother, they decided to turn chakra into a weapon to wage war. And the weaponization of chakra directly led to the genocidal conflicts which happened again and again and again in the Naruto world. So the Sage of Six Paths is a rather interesting symbol in this manga because he's supposed to be a warrior prophet who wants peace, right? He beat the Jubi, he was supposed to bring peace to the Naruto world, all of that good stuff. But he's still a warrior prophet, right? He's not just a prophet, he's a warrior prophet. At the bottom of it, the Sage of Six Paths is still a warrior. There's no such thing as a peaceful warrior. There's no peaceful way to wage war. There's no peaceful way to turn chakra into a weapon that you use to win battles and subjugate people who oppose you. So on one hand, yes, the Sage of Six Paths was good in the sense that he wanted peace, but on the other hand, him and his mother, by turning chakra into a weapon, directly led to creating the Naruto world with all of its genocidal conflicts, and directly led to the creation of Madara Uchiha. So whereas the Sage of Six Paths, even if the Sage of Six Paths wanted chakra to be a sort of gateway for empathy, for Madara, chakra represents something very vastly different. For Madara Uchiha, chakra symbolizes the problem inherent in human nature, the corruption of human nature, the need for humans to turn everything that they get their hands on into a weapon, which is pretty much true even in our world. I mean, humans have been killing each other since the dawn of time, and they haven't stopped. And it's a big question about whether or not they can stop killing each other even. So not for Naruto, for Madara, chakra is a symbol of the corruption of human nature. This is why Madara, when he's talking to Obito, basically says, those with power will always fight for more, because if you don't have power, you will lose everything. And one of the ways of maintaining and preserving power in the Naruto world is through the manipulation of chakra to subjugate your enemies. So even though I think that a lot of what this stuff with Obito was bullshit in this chapter, Madara really, Madara is able to at least salvage something in this chapter because his characterization is just so damn good, and he's just such a badass, and I fully expect him to beat the shit out of Obito in the next chapter. So like I said, the Obito stuff was bullshit, but Madara's characterization is still awesome. So this chapter gets kind of a mixed review for me because yeah, there was fuckery, but Madara makes everything awesome. So this was your boy Uber Hikari, aka the Nerd Nigga. Just brought you another video with no frills, just the analysis. Peace and have a blessed day.